From Volusia to Chico, Williams Grove to Knoxville, and all dirt tracks in between and beyond. This is Winged Nation. 1 full hour of news and interviews with today's top dirt drivers. Now, your award-winning hosts, Steve Post and Kendra Jacobs.
Hello again. It's Winged Nation here on MRN.com, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we have got a great program for you. So glad you joined us. Dusty Zomer, can you say zoom, zoom? Zoom, zoom is on the show. Sam Hafertepe Jr. back after a significant injury. He is back in victory lane, by the way. And great story out of Ohio. Stuart Brubaker has picked up 3 straight wins at Attica on Friday night. So we will talk to him as well. We're getting closer and closer to Knoxville, and we have got a lot of ground to cover. We are glad you've joined us here on Wing Nation on MRN.com alongside Kendra Jacobs and getting set to go here. What's going on, girl? How are you?
I'm good. You know, typical me, I run in the building when they're like 20
seconds
seconds
till
air.
20 seconds to spare. You were early this week. You were early.
Yeah.
You were early. So, well, I'll tell you, the big news of the weekend was, of course, at Pennsylvania. World of Outlaws rolled in town. Outlaws versus Posse. Friday night, Danny Dietrich, from 9th to his 3rd career World of Outlaw win. First one at Williams Grove. Kendra, I was sitting down doing some thinking, okay? Here are the guys that Dietrich passed that night, okay?
This list is amazing.
Okay, he passed Joey Saldana, Lance DeWeese, Paul McMahon, Lucas Wolf, Greg Hodnett, Darren Pittman, Sammy Swindell, and there was one, Donnie Schatz.
Which is like,
yeah.
At this time to pass Donnie Schatz, come on.
In 2015 to pass Donnie Schatz is special. It really is. It's been done a lot lately, it seems like. But, okay, the win total for those 8 guys, okay, that Dietrich passed on Friday night to win 683 wins combined between those 8 guys. Every one of them has won a World of Outlaw race. And all of Lucas Wolf has won 1. Everyone has won multiple ones. Most of them, I mean, you know, all the way up to Sammy Swindell. 683 wins, and Dietrich blew them all away for his 3rd career win. So, tip of the cap to Danny Dietrich. Great race. Great way to kick it off. But then on Saturday night, well, it just continued for the Posse. Stevie Smith, first off, the throwback car. I know, but the throwback car.
The throwback car was amazing.
Yeah,
and he is running that at Nationals,
he's
too,
running
right?
at Knoxville, and then his dad is going to run it at Fred's
perfect.
show. Yes, that's why they're doing it. It's all a promotional tool. It's all Fred Raymer promotion.
Oh, go figure, Fred Raymer thinking ahead like that.
But Stevie Smith, 69 career win over Donnie Schatz. The story of this one, beyond Stevie being fast, and that's kind of been the story all along this year up in Pennsylvania. Great run for Aeronaut. Led that race quite a while, finished in the 3rd spot. So it was a Posse sweep at Williams Grove, and it's Tuesday. I think some folks are just starting to recover from the hangover now, and they're already talking National Open. So it's all good. There's this little thing in Knoxville and some other races in between then and now, but it is why this the reason this rivalry is so good is that either side can go in and spank the other side at any time. We saw Pittman do it last year one weekend. We saw him split, and then this year it was the Posse's term on this weekend. That just means the National Open, the Outlaws can go in and just blow the doors off, or the Posse can continue on. That's why this rivalry is so good, because either side can spank the other. It's really
and
cool.
it's really something when it's not a guy who starts on the front row that did it. I mean, what Danny Dietrich did Friday night was so fun to watch. Thank you, Dirt Vision, for providing video coverage, because that was fun to watch. And the excitement level when he got out of that car
genuine,
was just
sincere.
amazing.
Absolutely. It was an electric atmosphere.
I don't often give props to the Posse.
You give props to the drivers.
I do.
The fans get to, the drivers are a little different.
Well, I'm just going to say, and we talked about this little picture that's going around saying, I don't get it passed often for the win, but when I do, it's by Posse. That is not true. I mean, you guys can say what you want, but that is not true. And this is what the Posse fans do. When something happens, they act like they're the only ones in the world to ever do it.
See, Joey Saldana did it earlier this year. I mean,
Shane Stewart did it. Dale Blaney's done it.
Exactly.
So, unless they're claiming them as Posse now.
Well, they're not. Yeah, exactly. So it is great. It really is. And that's the reason the rivalry.
Props. And if you watch MAV TV this weekend.
MAV TV, you got Posse fans. Posse fans, you've got to watch MAV TV this week.
I did give I gave props.
You've got to watch MAV TV this week. Absolutely. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour presented by MAV TV. Johnny Herrera, hey, he won at Rapid City, South Dakota. Johnny has won 3 of the last 5 ASCS National Tour races. Wait a minute. We were going to give Reitzel the championship.
We were.
And Reitzel's won the other 2.
We had the check written.
Reitzel's won the other 2. But how about Johnny Hollywood Herrera picking up the win? Oh, Reitzel, by the way, went to California and won in the King of the West Series. So he had a good weekend as well. Knoxville Raceway, Danny Lasowski. Kendra, the All-Stars were up at Wilmot. And this was an All-Star IRA special. And we had our very own Jeff Wackerlin there with a camera and a microphone in hand. So when Dale Blaney won the race, Jeff Wackerlin was there. And this is what Blaney had to say.
Well, I don't know if it was after the first yellow, I think, I could hear somebody really, really close, and I really couldn't tell if they were outside or inside. I heard them everywhere. And I don't know, you just kind of run, not really scared, but it gets you on edge a little bit because I wasn't really struggling, but I wasn't as good as what I needed to be, and I was just trying to plug some holes, and I saw his nose off of 2 in traffic, and wouldn't really say I picked the pace up, but a couple holes opened up for me in traffic, and but yeah, after that last yellow, I thought the race was going to be a little bit longer than that. I saw him throw the weight, and I was pretty happy.
Pretty happy indeed for Dale Blaney, but Jeff Wackerlin, our main guy, our guy in the trenches, he didn't stop there. Cody Dara finished second. This is what Cody had to say.
Well, at the beginning of the race, I just kind of wanted to be patient, and really that kind of hurt me. We were all over him the whole race, and in the beginning there was a lot more traction across to the curb, and he was too tight for that part, and there was times where I could get a run on him, but I didn't want to put myself in a bad position. Lap traffic was a little hairy, and then we got those restarts, and I didn't overly time them that well, and I got by him and got to the top, and he got a run off the middle. So the next time I did that, I tried to run the middle, and he was better at that than I was, and I lost my run. But it just it's good to be back on a racetrack where it has a curb like that. This All-Star schedules has us on such a slick racetracks, and I didn't know if we could how we were on something like that, and it's something that we keep building on and keep racing Dale. It's been a pretty good year for us.
Pretty good year indeed for Cody Dara. Second place on Saturday night. Now, let's hear from the drivers of the Hercules tire car, Greg Wilson, who finished third.
It was a battle. The racetrack was awesome. Hats off to Wilmot. It's great to see a packed house. Thank all the fans for coming out. But started 5th, fell back in 6th, and kind of just battled our way back. And then, there was 2 lanes of racing, and we actually got rolling around the top, which hasn't been our style as of late. And but Dean Bonsai Bruins helped us the last couple nights with some little stuff and got our car comfortable. And it was pretty cool to rail around the top like that. I was wondering if I could still do it or not.
Well, he can still do it. There's no doubt about it. That's Greg Wilson, a Hercules driver, and finished in the 3rd spot. So sounds like a great night for the All-Stars. Hey, Dale Blaney, by the way, had this note here. He had a pretty good week, Kendra.
Pretty good.
Winning the Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup, okay, and winning both of the World of Outlaw, or both of the All-Star races, $27,100 for 5 days.
Not a bad week of money. Not a bad week of money.
No, exactly. Dale Blaney picked up $27,100 from a Tuesday to a Saturday, so really good stuff. Real quick, looking over some of the other results. National Sprint League, they were busy. Dusty Zomer, we're going to talk to him a little bit later. Mark Dobmeyer picked up the win there. And the MOA Series, they had Illinois Speed Week. All 4 races got in. Great for them. Rico Abreu, Brady Bacon, Adam Jones, Joey Mohan got the wins on the MOA Series.
They had a great series.
Speed Weeks. Oh, yes. It was great. It was fantastic. So great. We talked to Jeremy Standridge on Wing Nation Weekend, provided by Hefner Racing Products. We talked to him last week. They were really excited. You could tell the voice, and we've laughed about this ever since we had Steve Beitler on. Hey, Steve, how are you? I'm great. Well, you got a good weather forecast, didn't you? Well, Jeremy Standridge was the same way. Hey, Jeremy, how are you? Man, I'm fantastic. Mother Nature is really smiling on him. And I do want to give a shout-out to our friends at USC. I spent Friday night with those guys over at East Lincoln. Wow. I just love that group of people just hanging out, talking racing. I mean, yes, it's a regional 360 tour on a tiny little racetrack It was great fun.
But please
great time.
repeat. So you were sitting next to a guy who
this
was
was
not
great.
a sprint car fan.
This was great. I wish I had the exact quote. This guy is not a sprint car fan. I mean, he's a regular at East Lincoln, and he was 28 years old, so it's not like some old bird sitting there. It's a 28-year-old, 29-year-old kid sitting there with his buddies, and they fired those cars up for the heat race. And he looks at his buddy, and he says, them some cool-ass cars. And I'm just like, and he's, I've never seen them before, and I was listening to him talk. Never seen sprint cars before in his life, We get done with the race, and the race was solid. Johnny Bridges scored the win. Solid race, not a spectacular race, not a bad race, just a good night of racing. And he says, that was a damn good-ass race right there. I got to see those guys again. So I'm like, welcome aboard, buddy. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the cult of sprint car racing.
Another one falls to the sprint car world. It is great. So thanks to the USCS gang for their hospitality. It was a great, great time out at East Lincoln watching them on Friday night. We need to step away, though. Hey, by the way, those results are on the Valco Wheels results page. You can find out more about Valco Wheels at Valco, VAHLCO.com. Check them out there at Valco.com. Dusty Zomer, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Rico Aber, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
The new standard in race car screen printing and embroidery, Classic Ink USA. Full custom race car track swag apparel, quality customer service, and the industry's finest graphic designers, assuring quick turnaround and the highest customer satisfaction. See the latest designs at ClassicInkUSA.com, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or call us 724-482-6224. Serving racers and their teams, all divisions, all over the world. Classic Ink USA, at the track and on your back.
O'Reilly. Changing your oil regularly helps keep your vehicle running at its best. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, purchase 5 quarts of Haviland conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $16.99, or 5 quarts of Haviland Pro DS Full Synthetic for $22.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Already dreading the thought of the off-season and winter? Head down under with Down Under Racing Tours. Don't be stuck in the cold and snow when you could experience the best sprint car racing in Australia, such as the Classic, World Series Speedway, King's Challenge, President's Cup, and the Australian title with Down Under Racing Tours. Owned and operated by an Australian who knows racing down under. Visit downunderracingtours.com or call 717-364-2576. Down Under Racing Tours for a racing experience of a lifetime.
This is Winged Nation. Back to Steve and Kendra.
We talked in the first segment about the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, and we were like, let's not reward or give the check to Aaron Reitzel so quickly because Johnny Herrera has really stepped up. National Sprint League, Kendra. Danny the Dude Lasowski, it's his tour, it's his series. Wait a minute. In the last 7 races, now Danny has won 1. Terry McCarl has won 1. Mark Dobmeyer has won 2. Billy Baylog has won 1. Craig Delansky has won 1. And our next guest, Dusty Zomer, has won 1 as well. So, by the way, this is not Danny Lasowski's National Sprint League. There's a lot of great drivers stepping up, and joining us now is the driver of that Buffalo Wild Wings car, the Blazin' Raisin, number 82. Blazin' Racin', number 82.
Oh, I was like, wait, how did he get the nickname Raisin?
Raisin. Racin'. Blazin' Racin'. I get so excited talking to these guys. Dusty Zomer's on the line. Hello, Dusty. Welcome to Wing Nation.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Kendra.
Hey.
Good to chat with you. Hey, congratulations. You won a couple weeks ago at Knoxville and then at Jackson. Second place run at Huset's. Looks like you are peaking at a pretty good time out there in the Midwest.
Yeah. Things have been going really well here as of lately, and hopefully we can just continue it on here into the month of August.
Well, talk to us about your season so far. You race at Knoxville every weekend, do some of these NSL Series races. What do you think about your 2015 season thus far?
We're basically teaming up with the Buffalo Wild Wings team and getting things going, doing something that I've never done, and that's race more often at a competitive level all across the country, from Arizona, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota. I mean, wherever there's a lot of big racing or whatever, we're there racing, and it's been as good as expected. We've been able to race competitively. To start the year off, but like anything else, I struggle a little bit qualifying, and that's something that I've really tried to work on myself as far as a driver. And I think as of lately here, I've really been starting to get it down a lot better, and that's been putting us in a better position
to get the track position that we need to be able to showcase what we actually got for a team. And I think we got the ball rolling, and hopefully we can just keep that thing going.
Dusty, you talk about qualifying being one of the challenges, but this traveling around, being a guy that spent much of your life racing-wise just there in Knoxville, what are some of the other challenges that going track to track to track have brought you?
You know what's been fun about it is you go to different regions of the world, if you want to call it that, or you race against a lot of competitive people at their local tracks, and so you pick up on things so quickly. Being that I've been so used to the last 4, 5, 6 years racing just Knoxville a lot, it's been fun to get back on a lot of short tracks across the country, and actually have to kind of reteach myself how to race around the short track avenue of it, if you want to say. And I think we've really gone in the right direction, and we're able to go from Knoxville and then the next night go to a place like Jackson or go to a place like Huset's. And in order to be competitive at all 3 tracks, or multiple tracks, has just been a goal of mine just to get good at. And I think with racing as much as we have, and seeing different tracks and different track conditions, one night it might be heavy, next night it's really dry. It just helps you adapt a lot faster to the changing conditions at every track.
You mentioned Huset's, and Huset's is under new ownership. Lots of news coming out about that. That's actually closer to you and where you live. What are your thoughts going into next season when Huset's and Knoxville are running against each other?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that up here, obviously. I come from a business background, so I've always been, and I love racing. It's going to be interesting, obviously. The way they talk, they haven't come out with all the details or anything like that, but sounds like they are going to up the purse and stuff like that for Huset's, and that's going to make everyone from the Sioux Falls area possibly rethink their strategy as far as maybe what they do or what they have for the year for next year. I think it's interesting. I mean, obviously, in the business world, competition can sometimes increase everything for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it can actually, it might pull things apart too, just a little. It's kind of one of those deals where I'm just kind of waiting to see exactly how it all unfolds myself. I'm excited that there's new ownership coming into Huset's. And that there's maybe some good changes as far as investing all that money into a place like Huset's. I think it can turn into a great racing event. I just kind of one of those deals. I'm just kind of sitting back and overlooking everything and kind of watching how it all unfolds and plays out. And when a guy has all the details, maybe a guy will be able to put more input in it. But I think it's going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting to see what people actually decide to do too, as well, from the Sioux Falls area to. Just because of the Knoxville deal, it is a commitment to go down there. I've been doing it for a long time. It's a commitment to drive basically 10 hours every single weekend, to go down there and race throughout the summer. And I think if Huset's throws in some extra, more purse to the deal, I think you might see more guys possibly stick around Huset's instead of pulling, 10 hours to go racing.
It is. Yeah, it is going to be interesting, Dusty. It kind of reminds us of all the racers in Ohio last year when we had the Renegades and the All-Stars kind of going back and forth. And I think the guys that came out best were the guys that took your approach to it. Let's wait and see. Let's look at schedules. Let's look at purses. Let's look at it. And it's a long time before March and April of next year before this thing kind of gets sorted out. So I like your approach on it, and it is a business, and when new ownership comes in and invests in it, it's good. So let's just see what happens. Now, between now and next year, there's this little thing called the FVP Knoxville Nationals. Okay, you've been running all over the country, winning races. You won at Knoxville, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago. What's your thoughts? What's your degree of optimism headed into the Nationals here in a week or two?
Well, obviously, being with a new team this year, racing Knoxville, we've had a lot of rainouts, which has actually kind of it hurt us just a little bit, just because we wanted some lap time. We wanted to get out there and get some notes and learn a few things about possibly what car we like, what motor we like, what we like, And with the rainouts, it's hurt us just a little bit in that avenue, but I think we've really kind of come across something here lately that, like a twin feature night was really a successful deal, because you're able to get out there, 2 nights or 2 times in one night, basically double the notes, and possibly, I think we can take those notes and continue on here as we move into the August towards the Knoxville Nationals. And I think now that getting my qualifying deal better. I think that if we can come in the Knoxville Nationals and we can qualify well and we can continue to race well, I think we have just as good a shot as anybody else to put her in the A main and hopefully obviously fight for a top 10, top 5 or whatever we need to do to make have a successful nationals. I've been on both ends of it. I've had good runs. I've had bad runs. It's one of those deals where you just got to put it all together. You got to qualify and race well that whole week.
You know, we talk to a lot of guys who don't get to race out there a lot and how important it is to try to get to Knoxville at least once in the season before the Nationals starts. How much of an advantage do you think the local Knoxville guys have getting to be on that track regularly if the rain cooperates? How much of an advantage do you think you guys have over the Outlaws or the Pennsylvania guys or the California guys that roll in for that week?
I think there can be an advantage to it, especially like if the track prep, if they're prepping the track a lot similar to what they're going to do for the Knoxville Nationals, I think that can be an advantage because you've seen that track multiple times before the actual Knoxville Nationals. We've had it some years where it was really hot and dry out and there was no rain and the tracks, they were good for the conditions, but at the same time, it was tough to really get some good notes for the Knoxville Nationals when they possibly prepped the track a little bit differently than what they did for a local show when they only had 30 cars compared to having 60 cars every night or something like that. But I think it's good. It's obviously having the knowledge and experience around the place can definitely help. But also at the end of the day, you still need the whole package to go together for that particular night, your qualifying night. So sometimes you just, as long as you got some good notes to refer off of throughout the night, if the track conditions change, I think it can be a rewarding situation for guys that do race there more often. And I think we've seen that in the results with more of the locals that race there weekly making the A main, it seems like every year more often than what they used to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. It seems like every region gets a few guys in, but you guys seem to get a few more in, and that familiarity probably leads to that. Dusty, real quick before we cut you loose, what is your favorite wing at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, there's a lot to choose from, and whatever I've been eating lately, maybe I want to keep eating it, But
good point.
There's a couple favorites or whatever, but honey barbecue, Asian zing. There's a handful of them that I do like, and I definitely recommend them to anyone that goes there or whatever. But and if you're up to it, you can try the spicy hot challenge or whatever. But you might want to make sure you got a couple glasses of water sitting there by you.
No doubt.
What's the kind you like?
I'm a garlic parmesan
garlic
guy.
Parm is
My
really
daughter
good.
my daughter and I went there Saturday afternoon. We were out shopping and went there Saturday afternoon. Garlic parm is mine, that's for sure, and really good. Hey, you have a Hefner Racing product wing on the car too, so we love those wings as well. So they sponsor our weekend update. Dusty, we appreciate talking wings and talking racing with you. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
All right, thanks, guys.
There we go. That's Dusty Zomer.
I like
joining
that
us here.
wing and wing thing you got
Wing
there.
and wing
that
thing.
was great,
Yeah,
Steve.
exactly. No, it is cool. It is cool. Two of our favorite wings, Hefner Racing product wings and garlic Parmesan wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. Time to talk about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. They are in the Expand the Dream program. Yes, they are growing. You can find out more information at Sprint Car HOF. Looking at some birthdays. Wow. Sunday. Listen to this, Kendra. Doug Wolfgang, Rich Vogler, Davey Heskin, Bruce Craig on Sunday. Pretty impressive list.
That is good.
Yesterday's birthday, Brad Doty, 2001
Can't forget
inductee.
that one.
Exactly. 11 World of Outlaw wins. The thing of it is we look at Brad now as arguably the greatest ambassador that sprint car racing has. I mean, he's been called that, and I ain't going to argue with it because I agree with it. I think that's great. Here's the thing that I love about Brad's story. At 31 years old, it didn't go as planned.
It did not.
It did not go as planned. It planned is he'd be bolstering those World of Outlaw stats, championships, and everything like that. It did not go as planned. Tragic crash, paralyzed at Eldora, 31 years old, and yet this second career has taken Brad to just the most beloved place in sprint car racing. Pat Patterson called him. That was the first one that called him to ask him about TV when they were doing the winter heat thing. And Brad thought about it, and then jumped in and did it, and he's been doing it ever since. So Tip of the cap to Brad Doty.
It's
Birthday
amazing
yesterday.
how life works out sometimes.
It does. It did not go as planned, but he is so loved.
The influence he's had on this
That's
sport
unbelievable.
is just amazing.
Love what Brad has done, no doubt about it. Today's birthday, Chet Wilson, Ray Ho Jack. Thursday, R. Keith Hall and Daryl Donnelly. Friday, Kyle Larson's birthday. Oh, so it's Saturday, Jeff Bloom. So there you have it. There are your birthdays. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Find out more information at sprintcarhof.com. Stay with us. Sam Hafertepe Jr. is coming up next.
Hey, this is Donnie Schatz, and you're listening to Kendra and Steve on Wing Nation, here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
The American Sprint Car Series returns for its 24th year. Over 150 events across national and regional schedules, 56 cities, 16 states, and some of the sport's best like Herrera, Swindell, Hafertepe, and Reitzel, along with the next generation of stars. See the full lineup of events at ASCSRacing.com. Get updates on Facebook and Twitter, and catch every Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour event live on RacingBoys.com.
I'm Danny Holcraver, now back to Wing Nation with Steve and Kendra.
Thank you, Danny. We appreciate it. Welcome back, everyone. We are having a great time. Appreciate Dusty Zomer joining us here on the program. We love great stories. We love great race car drivers who do amazing things, and who doesn't love a comeback story? Sam Hafertepe Jr. earlier this year hurt at a crash, broke his arm significantly, sitting out. There was a tweet at some point last week that Sam has been released and ready to go, and he cruised it right to victory lane, and then he turned around the next day and cruised it right to victory lane again, and now he cruises right in here to Wing Nation, joining us here. Sam, welcome back to Wing Nation. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing real good. I'm actually up in Canada today, so it's been a hectic last 3 or 4 days for sure.
So you're jumping right in. You're not just easing your way in. You're jumping in full bore because if you're in Canada, are you racing tonight?
No, I'm gonna take off tonight. They already had prior obligations to run Parker Price Miller, so
in the car. Okay.
I'm in the car for Friday and Saturday night for the 2 outlaw shows.
What is your healing process been like? Because for us, it's this major injury, and you come back like it was nothing. So walk us through what exactly you've been through.
Well, I think I just had a really, really good doctor. I mean, if I could put it anyway, I guess that's the way I'd put it. It's been depressing. You know, it started off being real depressing, and I was real mad, and then had a couple opportunities to go out and help some guys out, and you know, it kind of eased it off. A lot of guys can't watch racing, but it was kind of easier for me to be out there and be out amongst the people that I like to be around, and it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. I don't ever really get to watch races. I just race races. So to get out there and watch and see what different guys are doing on the racetrack, and I think it, you know, mentally made me in a better place when I got ready to go again.
What was it like last weekend? I want to talk about two different aspects of that first night back. A, firing the car off and getting out there and just twisting it up for the first time, and then rolling into victory lane after such a downtime, after the anger you talked about, after the disappointment, the frustration. What were those two moments like, starting out and winning the race?
Well, it was a whole different – it was a guy's car that I built for him. I was supposed to race it actually the night after I broke my arm, so the car had been sitting there for quite a while, and his name's Keith Dobbs. He kind of waited for me to get back in the seat and didn't put anybody else in the car, and had several calls to put people in the car. And he said, "No, Sam," he goes, "I'm gonna wait for you to get back," and which has been really awesome. It's really hard to find people that loyal in racing, and it was pretty cool. And he's given me every opportunity possible, but you know, to get it back out there in some car that I've never drove and different engine program, everything was different to me. And straight out of the box, the car felt awesome. You know, I couldn't ask for a better race car when we got out there. I mean, it didn't feel like it hadn't felt like I quit racing for 3 months at all. It was just kind of picked it right back up, and my arm didn't bother me at all, and it was just, I was really surprised, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, no offense, we were all surprised. I mean, for anyone to come back from an injury and then sweep a weekend is just the greatest comeback story. And you mentioned how loyal the car owner was. Were you surprised in other ways? Did you get a lot of fans reaching out, other drivers, teams? We always talk about the sprint car family being a true family. Did you feel that support over your break?
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't get the publicity if somebody like Donnie Schatz got hurt or somebody like that. I'm not going to get the publicity they would. But, I did. The race community definitely reached out to me. And it was pretty neat to see. Mandy Pittman was like one of the first people called me with the World Outlaws with the Benevolent Fund and stuff like that. I thought that was really neat. Something they don't have to do, but they set that deal up for injured drivers, and it's a really good deal. Like I say, I was pretty grateful for all the people that did reach out to me. So it was a matter of fact, Terry McCarl texted me. He goes, I broke my arm, and he texted me probably the day after, and then he broke his back. He goes, we got to quit texting like this, But it's pretty neat, all the people that reach out to you, and it definitely helped me get my spirits up, that's for sure.
I am absolutely sure a little bit of support along the way is really cool. And, when Colton Gauss with the National Sprint or the National Open Benefit reaches out and talks about the World of Outlaw Benevolence organization, that right there is a ringing endorsement of what they do. So when you're bidding on auction items and doing things like that for those organizations, it go to support guys like Sam that find this little bump in the road and move forward. All right, Sam, let's talk about moving forward now. So you've already told us you're running with the World of Outlaws this weekend up in Canada. They've got a couple of shows Friday and Saturday night. Where do you go after that as we get closer and closer? I believe Knoxville's on the agenda. Where do you go after that, though?
Yeah, we'll be with the Hills Racing team on Friday and Saturday night, and then I think Tuesday we're rolling straight to Knoxville. We'll be in the 360 Nationals in their car, and then we'll also be in the 410 Nationals in their car, and possibly just try to run every race in Knoxville and Oskaloosa that week. That's kind of our game plan going forward, as long as we don't have any mishaps along the road.
Yeah, so you must have stored up a lot of sleep during this time off, too, because that is a lot of racing in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that race we did this last weekend, it was basically, those races were 2 races that we weren't even sure we were going to do. I was really hoping to be able to be ready by that time. And, the doctor released me. He says I still have a small hairline crack in my arm, but the plate's strong enough to hold it together unless something like what happened last time happens again. But he basically released me, said I was good to go, and we went and run those 2 races, and it's basically just 2 races to see if I was able to handle it, if my arm would be strong enough to come back from that. And like I say, surprisingly so, I haven't had any complications with it. So I said, well, let's go all out and do it like we normally do it. So we're going to go after it.
Just a hairline fracture, that's all. No big deal. The wussy radio guy here is squirming and squeaming listening to you talk about it, Sam. That's why you race cars and I talk about you guys and have so much respect for what you do. We're glad you're back. We're glad you're rolling to victory lane. We can't wait to see what you have this weekend in Canada and in Knoxville coming up. We wish you continued success on the racetrack and off, but thanks for your time joining us here on Wing Nation.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and thanks for having me on.
There we go. That's Sam Hafertepe Jr. joining us on the Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery guest line. You can find more information at classicinkusa.com. That's classicinkusa.com. Yeah, Kendra, just a hairline fracture. Plates ought to take care of it.
It should be fine.
As long as we don't do what we did the last time, we'll be just fine. Yeah, no problem.
Typical driver. It's I'm not all the way healed, but I'm good enough to get in a car. I'm good.
We wonder why we go watch these guys do what they do. It's because of guys like Sam Hafertepe Jr. It's because they do what they do. They do extraordinary things, overcome extraordinary injuries, extraordinary obstacles, and just do amazing things. And that's what makes them so good on the racetrack. So we appreciate Sam joining us. Great, great stuff there. And Kendra, in your home state, there is a race car driver just tearing it up.
And I didn't even, you were the one that informed me of this. I was like, man, I got to get back to the basics here.
I keep an eye on Attica.
Ohio, I have not been following along.
You know
enough.
I may be from the next state over, but I love my Attica Raceway Park. And I'm guessing Stuart Brubaker loves Attica Raceway Park as well. He won the last 3, and we'll talk to him next.
This is Winged Nation on MRN.com. We'll be back talking more dirt with Steve and Kendra right after this.
O'Reilly.
Restore shine to your vehicle with great deals on Turtle Wax Spray Wax or Wash and Wax, $3.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Clean, shine, and protect your vehicle with select Turtle Wax appearance products on sale for $3.99 each at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon. Did you know that 43 children are diagnosed with cancer each and every day? That more children die from cancer than any other disease? Athletes of all ages are dedicating their stats to change these stats, and you can too. Visit JeffGordonChildren'sFoundation.org to become a Kick It champion. No matter what your sport, you can use your points, laps, or goals to change the odds for kids with cancer. Make your stats really count. Become a Kick It champion.
Back to Winged Nation. Here's Steve and Kendra.
We love great stories here on Wing Nation. We tell them every week, and there's just times where it's like they just flood us with the great stuff. And what's happened the last 3 races up at Attica is absolutely amazing. Stuart Brubaker has won the last 3, first season with the Burnmeister racing team. And Stuart joins us on the phone now. Hello, Stuart. Welcome to Wing Nation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, what's happened here the last few weeks? You guys have found your stride.
Yeah, we got really good at Attica the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to keep riding it as long as we can.
Okay, I just have to ask because I just started to tweet. Where did you get this Twitter handle from?
I have no idea.
Oh, I hope it's
not
a
you.
fake
No,
one.
it's not
It says
you.
it's Stuart Brubaker with a picture of your race car and from Ohio, but this is the craziest Twitter handle I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of numbers. So it's not you.
Yeah.
You have a hacker, just to
No.
let you know. Live on the air, you have a hacker.
Right, yeah.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about the last 3 weeks. I'm looking at the results and the story from this. You only had to pass Dean Jacobs to win on Friday night. It just sounds like you've got that 16 car on a rail there. Tell us some of the highlights of the last few wins.
Yeah, the last couple were great. The first night we started 4th and was able to come up from 4th and win, and Byron was coming. And then, we got lucky the following week and started on the front row, so that helps. And last week I think we started 7th or 8th or something like that. So we had to work for that one. And Dean was out front, and I didn't know if we'd be able to get him. And as the race went on, he got a little bit slower. So we got better, and Attica's been such a great place to race at. They do really well with track maintenance and stuff like that. It's hands down.
Talk to us about what have you, I know you can't say specifically, oh, we changed this and that made us better than everyone, but what have you found or what do you think you're hitting on there that's made you suddenly in these last 3 weeks just explode?
We've been working really close with Doug at OC Shocks, and we changed some of our shock package up, and it seems to really, really do well at Attica. Fremont, we're still struggling with it yet. We're still working. But we changed some things there about a month ago and got a lot better.
Yeah, it seems like shocks are the key.
Shocks are really important. They really are. We hear that across the board. Chatting with Stuart Brubaker. Stuart, you're a former 305 champion, and then you fielded your own 410 cars for the last couple of years, and you get the opportunity now to run that number 16 car. What was that like to kind of, was it like a release of some pressure from you to get a solid ride up there? What's that been like for you getting acclimated to being more of a driver as opposed to a guy fielding your own car?
Yeah, it's great because, when you field your own car, you got to work in the shop all week and you got to worry about paying bills. So sometimes you just finish when you're running your own car. This deal here, Sonny and Sharon give me a great opportunity this winter to drive the 16 car as Andrew's left. And I don't have to worry about that. They have a full crew. I just can show up and drive a race car and keep my head into the driving mode. And that really, really takes a lot of stress off.
So what do you do during the week now that you're not in the shop and paying your own bills and doing all that stuff? What do you spend the weekdays doing?
I still go to the shop every once in a while. I still have my own car. I run it a couple times, so I work on it every once in a while. But just farming, that keeps me pretty busy, and which that helped because I used to have to look for help to go to my shop. I never had a steady crew chief, and I was trying to find guys to go to my shop while I was working. So with my work schedule and the 16 car, it works out great.
Well, my father is also a farmer now in his retired years. This seems to be hay baling week. Is that what you spent your time doing?
No, we don't.
Thank God for
we don't
you.
get into that. We farm quite a few acres, so we don't get into baling. We hire that out. Like today, I'm going to start. We got done with wheat, and I got some rye to cut. I'm going to start combining here in about half hour. So I'm lucky. I don't have to do the hay baling stuff.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are, man. I did that when I was a kid. I did that when I was a kid. That's the worst.
Yeah, I did enough when I was in high school and had cattle for myself at home, so I'm past that.
Well, Stuart, the plan going forward now. The great news is you're in the hunt for the Fast Championship presented by Kistler Racing Products. That's $10,000. Attica Track Championship. Are the plans for the rest of the year staying close to home there and running for those championships? Do you have any road trips planned, or are you just going to keep it locked in right there at Attica and Fremont?
Not real sure on that. I haven't talked to the guys about it, but my feeling is I would think that we'd stay locked in on the points deal.
Yep.
Attica has a great points fund this year. It's $10,000 to win, and I think we're catching Dean by about 8-10 points or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had to get a spare car out yet. I don't really want to, so we're going to try to focus on the fast points and Attica stuff.
Yeah, and their season it ends late, right? So you've got quite a bit of your season left.
Yeah, I think Attica goes into, or Attica's done, the 1st of September. I think Fremont will go all the way to end of September, October.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a lot of racing to do here at home. We got some big all-star shows coming up. We got Jim Ford Classic, and we still got some all-star stuff at Attica yet.
Which just means a lot more money to win.
Right. Let's hope we can keep going when them guys come to town.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
definitely.
Stuart, it has been so great watching what you're doing up there at Attica. Attica is one of our favorite spots in the country. And congratulations on the success. That is really, really cool. We appreciate your time. And get out there and get in that combine machine. It's time to go to work.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
There we go. That's Stuart Brubaker. Kendra, that is just another I talked about that when we came in and started that segment. It seems like every week we find another great story. And here's one, a guy out there just slugging it out, loves this racing, won a 305 championship, fielding his own car. In comes the Burnmeister team, able to get a ride, and that's all well and fine. But then to cash in on it, that's the thing. You know, you get a ride, lose a ride, get a ride. But to get a ride, and then here we are, the hottest driver in Ohio right now, man, that's just good stuff.
3 in a row at any track is difficult to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're at in the country or who you're racing against. 3 in a row is difficult to do, and you've got to have everything great. And for him to say, we haven't even had to bring a backup car out this year.
Fantastic.
And I'm sure his owners are saying that's fantastic, too. Keep on going down that route, please.
Yeah, because we heard when you're the owner paying the bills, you don't take chances.
Yes,
now
sometimes you
someone
just
else
finish.
is. And so I'm sitting there going, oh, boy, he's wadded up some cars.
No.
And then he says, no, he hasn't wadded up cars. So I just think that's great. And Kendra, that just speaks volume. What they have going on at Attica Fremont, the Fast Series, Kistler Racing Products, of course, Paul Kistler getting involved, putting up a $10,000 point fund. Attica has a $10,000 to win championship this year. We talk about the way guys are racing sprint cars. Yeah, I know. Everyone wants to be out there tangling with shots every night. That doesn't work for everybody.
Do they really?
Well, I don't know
mean,
if they
at this
do.
point, do
That's
you
true.
really
Maybe
want
not. Maybe not. You know, that's a good point.
Hey, man, I'm going to go back and run these local shows every weekend.
Up until about 3 months ago, I want to be a World of Outlaw driver. Now I don't want to get flogged by Donnie Schatz every night. You're at a very good point there. But there's so many good ways that guys across the country, whether it be California or in the Midwest with the National Sprint League in Knoxville, of course, Pennsylvania, we talk about that all the time. But what they have at Fremont and Attica, my gosh, is
It's a
great.
great series. And like he said, even when Attica ends in September, we
Yeah.
still have a good month left at Fremont,
Yep.
which does include a lot of these big all-star shows. So their season really goes into October, and which gives them a great opportunity to make a living at this and still have time to get in that tractor and that combine.
That's right. Get out there and get
go
the
out there
ride
and
on.
cut rye.
Cut some rye.
I love it. You go so fast on the weekends, and you're in the little tractor going real slow, chilling out.
We need to step away. When we come back, our Kick It Driver of the Week, we've got a huge amount of things we've got to cover before we get out of here. So stay with us, everyone. Wing Nation continues on in just a moment.
I'm Shane Stewart, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Racers, that's who Valco wheels are. That's who they know, and racing is what they know. Valco Wheels focuses oval track and grassroots racing, and understand racers need a quality wheel that fits your budget. With over 25 years experience, Valco Wheels produces the best product and give you face-to-face support and customer service at the track. Fast delivery, innovative products, problem solving. Find Valco Wheels at Valco.com on Twitter or Facebook, or call Valco Wheels at 609-758-7013. Valco Wheels.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa. Your destination for sprint car history. Check out the Salute to Champion Doug Wolfgang exhibit, featuring 5 of Doug's sprint cars, all 5 of his winning Knoxville Nationals trophies, as well as helmets, uniforms, and other Wolfgang memorabilia. Also check out Damian Gardner's world's fastest sprint car that the Demon drove at 211 miles per hour at Bonneville. Open 7 days a week all year in the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville, Iowa. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum.
I'm Kerry Madsen. Now back to Wing Nation with Steve and Kendra.
Oh, it's a little bit of the madman for us here on a Tuesday. Wing Nation rolling along. Kendra Jacobs and Steve Post. And Kendra, it is time for our Kick It Driver of the Week. Of course, everything is focusing now on Knoxville as we get closer and closer with all the events out there. But each week, we salute somebody. Who do we have this week?
Well, this one is one that a lot of race fans might not be familiar with. He races in Knoxville every week in the 360 series. His name is, I'm going to butcher this, Keone Texera.
Okay.
Keone is from Hawaii. Came into the United States, went to Knoxville to check it out, got some friendly advice from our buddy Bob Baker. But, oh, man, Knoxville's great. You'd love it out here. Next thing you know, Keone ups and moves from Hawaii to Knoxville, Iowa.
Well, of course.
To pursue a racing career. And I think it's so cool. And he had a really bad accident in 2013 that ended his season. Came back in 2014 and got Rookie of the Year in the 305 series. Finished 8th in their points and is now racing 360s. He's doing a great job. He's a very nice guy. Actually reached out and offered to cut his hair for cancer. It's just an inch too short, but I thought it was an awesome gesture. Yeah. Really good guy. Wants to be involved. Wants to be a huge member of the sprint car community. And I'm telling you, to pick up and move from Hawaii to Iowa is just
love
a big...
Knoxville. Okay, we love Knoxville, and there are 10 days coming up in Knoxville where, I can see that. But, and this is no offense to our friends in Knoxville, that's Hawaii.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Cool. That is great. My gosh, that is really, really awesome. Great, great stuff. Kendra, there is a big event coming up this week, and I am really excited about this. It's a combination deal, and it's Thursday and Friday night at I-80 Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska, okay? It is the National Sprint League and the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour presented by MAV TV.
I think Dusty Zomer is doing double duty this weekend.
I think so. Yeah. I'm sure the dude will be there. I'm sure, I mean, everyone. They're even having
what is it? The Road to Knoxville, right?
The Road to Knoxville. They're even having, listen to this, they're even having a Dolly Parton impersonator going to sing.
Ooh,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, everyone knows what the main thing is to
That's
have
right,
if you're
exactly.
Hey.
Well, exactly.
I bet she is a fan of big tail tanks.
Big tail tanks, exactly. Big tail tanks.
I bet she would be on my team big tail tank.
Team big tail tank. I like that. I like team big team big tail tank. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. What were we talking about? Let's see.
Let's get back to racing.
The Road to Knoxville. Yes, the Road to Knoxville. I really, what's going on, the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, they had a brutal beginning of the season. They're rolling now. I mean, the racing has been phenomenal. I've been tuning in Racing Boys, and I love listening to those guys call a race. They're rolling. And in Herrera, as we mentioned when we were talking about the results, Herrera closing in on Aaron Reitzel a little bit, so great point battle there, and all of the regulars. Now that we're back in the Midwest, a couple other drivers will join the tour again. They did not do the West Coast trip. And then the National Sprint League, which, as we talked about there, was the formerly Danny Lasowski Sprint League. Now everyone else is jumping in and winning races. I just think this race on Thursday and Friday night in Greenwood, Nebraska is just going to be phenomenal. I mean, a doubleheader is going to be great.
And we talk about it all the time. When two series work together to benefit themselves, the fans, the drivers, that's always a win. Always.
Absolutely. Really, really good. So we'll look forward to following along in that as well. On MRN.com, Kendra, the Knoxville Nationals media poll is out. Okay? And so, folks, you can find that at MRN.com. Great for debating, water cooler talk, and, well, cussing under your breath about media members. So there we go. So
now, have you read it? Do you agree? Look at your top
good
5.
with it. I'm good with I really think I'm pretty good with the top 5. I obviously, Schatz and Lasowski, Shane Stewart. I'm really tough with those top 3. And Henderson, I think that goes back to what Zomer told us. The home track, and Henderson is so good there.
Yep.
It's when we get, and this is no slight on Kerry Madsen, Joey Saldana. It just seems like right now, beyond Donnie Schatz, I'm not sure, and Shane Stewart, I'm not sure where the rest of the world of outlaws are in the grand scheme of things.
It really is difficult because
when
somebody dominates so much, it's hard to see who else is fitting in there.
So we have Kerry, Joey, Brownie, Stevie Smith, Stevie Smith was a big mover. He moved up to 8th.
Yep.
Paul McMahon and Terry McCarl. The problem is that I'm not sure I'm with that, but I'm not sure I can argue against it either. Because
there's always a surprise guy, too. There's always going to be someone who...
I'm really interested to see, and Kendra, this is something we talk about this week. We talked about a little earlier this week. I'm interested to see how Pennsylvania speed translates to Knoxville. Stevie Smith and Hodnett in particular, I'm really interested. They're the ones that seem to consistently be fast. I'll be interested to see if Lucas Wolf, Dietrich, and Marks do as well. So I'll be interested to see that, where we look at that. And that's the beauty of these polls. It's just... I think we all know Schatz is the driver. I think we know number 1 is good, but I think number 2 back we can debate the whole way through.
And I'm like, I think 1, 2. I think Donnie, Danny are the front runners.
Yeah, and I can buy Shane
and
for
I
third,
think anytime you look at who is dominant at Knoxville, if someone's dominating Knoxville, they're a front runner to win.
Right, absolutely.
They know that track better than anyone. And if you look at Lasowski's crew chief too, Guy Forbrook, they know that track better than anyone. You know an interesting stat? Guy Forbrook has never won the Knoxville Nationals.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That is and Lasowski would be the oldest winner of the Knoxville Nationals by more than 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, winning it at 56, that would be a huge feat.
I just think that they're going to be really good out there. So I'm
now,
interested to see.
keeps racing until he's 56. Well, yeah.
And then just talk about writing checks, I mean. But it's good stuff. You can find that out on MRN.com. Find that out there at MRN.com. Another little tidbit, and we're just throwing out a bunch of things here because there's so much good happening in the world. And Stevie Smith, we've talked about the month of money.
When I saw the stat you wrote down,
Stevie Smith had the month of money. From June 26th, the beginning of Pennsylvania Speed Weeks, through Saturday night, Stevie Smith, $73,000.
And this is a guy who's a part-timer. I need a part-time job like that.
I need one of those gigs. And you know how much money Fred Raymer spent on hotel rooms?
Nothing.
Zero.
Nothing.
Zero. So it just goes to show you, and this goes to the Stuart Brubaker conversation, there's great ways to be racing across the country, but Stevie Smith is coming off his own month of money, and, well, I don't believe it's over either. That's the thing for Stevie Smith and the Fred Raymer team. So we have that going on as well here. Let's see Wing Nation on MAV TV. Kendra. Folks, you need to watch Wing Nation on MAV TV. Shane Stewart.
King Shane the
32nd.
Shane the 32nd.
He will join us this week on MAV TV. And Posse fans, you need to twist us in, okay? You need to twist us in. I'm just telling you, little postman to Posse fans here, need to twist us in because, you need to twist us in. That's all. And folks.
What did I do? I was called Eating Crow. Is that what?
If you don't get it, go to getmavtv.com and get it, okay? Just go get it. I'm going to get on a little soapbox here, okay? You have no right. You don't, I get so angry with people saying, I can't believe my cable provider doesn't give me MAV TV. You have no right to get MAV TV. You have every right to change cable providers.
You do.
You have every right to change to somebody who will give you what you want. So go to get
and
the
let
MAV
me tell
TV.
you, like, we're partial to this show called Wing Nation on my, but they also have the Dave Despain show.
Exactly, it's
the
great
Chili
stuff.
Bowl Nationals.
They have Lucas Oil, ASCS
Dirt
National
Dreams
Tour Racing,
from
Dirt
Knoxville.
Dreams from Knoxville, Dirty 30 is on.
If you are a sprint car fan, You should have MAV TV.
You have no right to get MAV TV. You have the right to change to someone who can give you MAV TV. Make sure you tell the one you're leaving why you're leaving, and make sure you tell the one you're coming to why you're coming to them. And that's the way this thing works. This is commerce, folks. MAV TV.
I'm learning like a valuable economy lesson
Yeah,
here.
exactly. Just go find someone who'll give it to you. It's like, if you don't go to Taco Bell to get a Big Mac.
That is true.
You don't go to
That is
yeah,
true.
exactly. You don't go to Taco Bell to get those garlic Parmesan Buffalo Wild Wings.
But we know where you can go for that.
Yeah, about
And
a
so
mile
does
up the
Dusty
road.
Zomer.
About a mile up the road, you can go do it. So, folks, get MAV TV.
I think we
are
should
having a
tag
blast.
this, and that's what grinds my
That's
gears.
what grinds my gears. Oh, the right to anything. We have no right to anything, but we can make the decision to go get what we want, and that's the beauty of it.
Steve's
So
new segment.
get
Love
MAVTV.com, and we will talk to King Shane the 32nd. Kendra, I'm going racing this weekend too.
I've heard that. You know what I'm doing?
What are
You're
you doing?
going. Well, you're going Pennsylvania
I'm
area.
going to Pocono for the NASCAR race. What are you doing?
Well, this is what so painful. I'm going to Knoxville.
Awesome. Not from Hawaii, but from Concord. Yeah.
Friday only.
What in the world? Who in the... Why?
Well, it's this thing called Kick It.
Yeah.
And, we have a big event coming up.
coming up. Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
4 big events coming
yeah.
up during the Knoxville Nationals. So
Yeah.
I've got to fly out there for one day just to get a bunch of stuff situated.
Well, that's
get
fine.
all these auction items in place. Go out to
need a new
Slideways.
travel agent,
Talk
though,
to
that
Bob
can-
Baker at the Hall of Fame. Get
Yeah.
a bunch of that figured out. And immediately that night fly back. But then
So
7
they're not
days later,
available-
Steve.
So they're not available to meet on a Saturday, though?
Apparently not. Apparently Saturday was unavailable. So Friday, I will be out there just to stare at the track, drool a little bit, wipe a tear when I have
There's
to leave
a little
that evening.
place across the street called Dingus.
I've
You may be able to get
heard
a cold,
lot
frosty
about
beverage
these.
in there.
Well, the cool thing is we kick off Kick It Week
Yeah.
at Dingus Tuesday night, August 11th with a dunk tank, Steve.
I know.
We have
Oh, my
some
gosh.
huge hitters getting in this dunk tank.
Yep. It's going to be
Kyle
big.
Larson,
Really?
Rico Abreu, Ms. Motorsports,
Yeah.
Brian Clausen and his lovely girlfriend Lauren. And
Mm-hmm.
I just might be jumping in that dunk tank that evening.
What T-shirt
Starting
contest,
to
baby.
figure
Yes,
out what
exactly.
shirt I'm going to wear.
in
in the
when
dunk
she starts
tank.
doing this, you know that. Oh, you
It
know,
might
yeah,
reference
exactly.
my
She is-
appeal to big
yes.
fuel tanks.
And she is for those of you, she is moving her hands like
This
over
area.
her frontal chestal area, over
my,
her
my T-shirt will have
her
something
T-shirt
catchy on it.
covering
There's
area.
been some phrases vetoed,
Oh, boy.
mostly
Oh,
by
boy.
the parental units. But
I'm going to Selinsgrove this week. It's the Kramer Cup honoring Kramer Williamson.
those posse people, they just love you.
Well, I'm just going up there. It's URC, so it's a 360
Kramer-
race.
what is the Kramer
Williamson,
Memorial?
it's the Kramer
That's
Cup,
awesome.
yeah. And what they're
That's
doing,
awesome.
Selinsgrove does this thing. They start at the Selinsgrove Ford with a big car show, okay? And then they are taking all the cars right down Main
That's
Street,
cool.
Selinsgrove, to the racetrack.
That is
at 4 o'clock
really
on Saturday
cool.
afternoon, right down the main
Well,
drag.
if you see Kramer's son Kurt, tell him we
I
all
look
said
forward
hello
to talking to him.
and
So
wish him
I'm
well.
going to Selinsgrove. You can follow along on Twitter, and I will have my Periscope machine with me as well. Thanks to Dusty Zomer, to Sam Hafertepe Jr., and to Stuart Brubaker for joining us. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us on the show.
You've been listening to the nation's premier winged sprint car radio program, Winged Nation. Tune in next Tuesday at noon for more talk from the dirt tracks. Winged Nation is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.